Hello to all Psy Green friends. Today, we're going to talk about momentum, a topic researched by the Psy Green team, revealing fascinating insights into its impact on life and its use in the law of attraction. We'll present this in a two-person conversation format. So, if you're ready, let's dive into the dialogue.
Today, we're going to break down one of the most powerful psychological forces in our lives. Seriously, it's this thing that often goes completely unnoticed, but it dictates so much of our success and our failure. We are talking about momentum.
Have you ever felt this? You see someone who just seems to have everything going their way, where one success just effortlessly leads to the next. And then there are those other times, right? Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you know, where it feels like you're just stuck in the mud, and every tiny little setback just makes things worse. So what is the real difference here? Well, the answer isn't just luck, and it's not just about raw talent. It's all about a hidden force that once you really understand it, you can actually control, and it's called momentum.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to look at what momentum really is and how this hidden force is pretty much the key thing that separates moving forward from just getting stuck.
So at its core, psychological momentum is basically a compounding effect. It's where your mindset and your actions, they start building on each other. They gain speed, they gain power, and they start to carve out a path, whether you want them to or not.
The absolute perfect way to picture this is that classic snowball effect, right? It starts small, maybe just a little ball of snow you can hold in your hand, but as it starts rolling downhill, it picks up more snow, it gets bigger, it moves faster, and eventually it becomes this unstoppable force. Your daily actions work exactly the same way. But, and this is so crucial to understand, momentum is a double-edged sword. It can work for you, creating that awesome snowball of success, or it can work against you, pulling you into a downward spiral. A small win can build your confidence and make the next step feel so much easier. But a small negative act, that can lead to doubt that makes it harder to even try. And both of them become way harder to stop once they get going. So, let's focus on the good stuff first. How do we build that positive snowball and get it rolling in the direction we actually want it to go?
The key here is realizing that this doesn't require some massive, life-altering change. No, it starts with something small. Like, decide to read just one page. That small success makes you feel good, right? So tomorrow, reading 2 pages feels easy. At work, just nail one tiny task on your to-do list. That little boost of confidence makes that next bigger task seem way less intimidating. Even just 10 minutes of exercise can improve your mood, making you more likely to choose a healthy meal later on. See? Small wins create a positive feedback loop.
And get this, there's actual brain science behind it. Every single time you achieve a small goal, your brain releases dopamine. That's the feel-good chemical. It's literally a reward from your brain that says, hey, that was good, let's do it again. This is the fuel for your positive snowball, making it easier and, honestly, more enjoyable to keep going.
Okay, so now let's look at how this same force builds in the opposite direction. It's just as powerful, but, well, it's a lot more destructive. And the downward spiral often starts so subtly, we don't even notice it's happening. I mean, think about it. You hit the snooze button just once. Now you're rushing, you feel stressed, you spill your coffee, and your whole day just feels off. Or in a conversation, one sharp comment can trigger a defensive reply, and then suddenly you're in a full-blown argument about nothing. At work, if you take constructive criticism really personally, it can just crush your motivation, making you avoid that project and fall even further behind. It's the same exact principle, just in reverse. And here's the big warning. The negative snowball picks up speed way faster. It feeds on doubt and inaction, and once that thing is rolling, it takes a massive amount of effort to stop it. Recognizing it early is absolutely critical.
This whole idea that our consistent thoughts and actions actually shape our reality, it isn't new. It's the practical engine behind a much more famous and, let's be honest, often misunderstood concept, the law of attraction. So, within the whole law of attraction framework, momentum is what gives your thoughts real power. It's not about one little fleeting thought. It's about a consistent thought habit. And this consistency creates a stable mental and emotional state, what some people call a vibrational frequency that basically acts like a magnet.
Think of it this way. By repeatedly focusing on a thought, whether it's I am capable or I always fail, you're pushing that snowball. It gets bigger and more dominant in your mind. This is the real core of like attracts like. Your internal momentum becomes so strong that you start to notice and even create opportunities that match it in the outside world.
Okay, so we get the theory, right? The good, the bad, but how do we actually take control of this thing? Let's get into the practical, actionable steps you can take to build the momentum that you want. It really just boils down to a simple 3-step process. First, you have to start unbelievably small. Second, you have to learn to consciously interrupt those negative patterns. And third, you have to actively acknowledge your progress no matter how tiny it seems. Okay, here's your action plan. To start some positive momentum, forget the huge goal. Seriously, don't plan a 1-hour workout. Just commit to 5 minutes of stretching. The goal is just to start, not to finish. To break a negative spiral, you need what's called a pattern interrupt. Feeling overwhelmed? Just stand up. Take one deep breath. Go get a glass of water. It's a tiny physical action that shocks your brain out of that negative loop. And finally, you have to reinforce the positive. Acknowledge what you did. Tell yourself, hey, I did my 5 minutes of stretching today. That little acknowledgement, that's the fuel. That's the fresh snow that makes your snowball grow.
Ultimately, the most important thing to remember from all of this is that momentum isn't something that just happens to you. It's a force that you direct. By consciously managing your small, daily choices, you are choosing the direction of your life. You get to decide which snowball to push. And that brings us to the final question I want you to think about. Looking at your life right now, what is the one ridiculously small action you can take today to start building the positive snowball you want? What is your snowball?
I hope this conversation has been helpful for you. Please subscribe to Psy Green, like the video, and support us with your comments. Also, with momentum, let's strive to keep the vibration of receiving our desires flowing, avoiding falling into negative momentum. Or, if we do, let's quickly step out and shift to positive momentum. The stronger it gets, the easier it becomes to stay on the path of positive momentum. Don't forget to join our Telegram channel where the summary will also be posted.